Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Platinum. This episode we're going to be going through Route 206 and Route 207. And I'm going to be telling some stories. I should probably go back and buy some repel before I do that though. Because we're going to be going through a cave. And we're going to be going through, let me think what else. We're going to be going through a couple caves and some grass, so we're going to want some repels before we go through here, but I figure last episode I said I would continue on with the Grady epic, and then that would segue nicely into the Francis epic. So, I'll start telling the stories now, and probably they'll end up, the whole chronicles will end up finishing. How many of these can I buy? About 50. The whole, story chronicles will end right around when we get to our third gem, which will be nice. Yeah, so Grady, if you don't remember, good pal Grady was the focus of the story last episode, or for part of the story last episode, where he completely decimated a bathroom. Completely decimated a school bathroom with his, you know, I don't want to go into further depths, but you get my drift if you watched last episode. This episode we're going to be talking about the kind of more interesting Grady stories. So I guess I'll start off with how I came into contact with him. So in 7th grade, I was new to school, and I met a couple guys, a couple friends. Some of them were in my health class, and we got new seating chart one day. And it comprised of a table that was basically me, a kid that never showed up, a friend of mine, and Grady. But Grady was a special camper. And the good thing about Grady was, my health teacher was a really cool guy, and he knew I couldn't stand Grady, and he knew I loved to annoy him, kind of pester him, and kind of stuff you really shouldn't do to a person, make fun of them, and etc, etc. But he knew all that stuff. He knew he didn't like Grady either, and he ended up quitting before he could get fired at the end of said year. But anyways, so he didn't like Grady, and I didn't like Grady. So he's like, all right, I want to have you sit next to Grady. He didn't tell me this up front, but I can infer this, and then you can just annoy the crap out of him. So that's exactly what I did, and my friend also disliked Grady, so that's what we did for the majority of that class, and it was a fun class. And then that's kind of how I came into contact with him, and in the second semester, I was in beginning band, and it was me, and and first semester with me, a friend of mine, and another friend of mine that was in 6th grade at the time. He was a year younger than I am. And I'm a freshman right now. So he's still in 8th grade. But there's the 3 of us. Then at semester, the friend that was in my grade, his name is Taylor. I'll talk about him later. In other stories you'll hear about him. But he got moved up to the intermediate band because I was in beginning band because I just started learning how to play percussion. So Grady got moved up into he started doing band. I don't even know why, what possessed him to do band. He was there and we basically just annoyed the crap out of him there. And that's one day. Well, there was a day, we both got in trouble. The guy's name is Cameron, who's a year younger than I am. We both got in trouble for basically yelling at Grady while we're practicing in the back room for basically screwing up so poorly that, we just let it down on him, yelled at him. But that happened, and then, let me think, was it? Must have been some point in the year he started to snap, Grady, he snapped. And, come into lunch. I think we had band right after lunch. Yeah, because it was right before lunch in 8th grade, and it went symphonic band and lunch and beginning band. So yeah, right after lunch we come in to, like, Cameron and I come in because we have to be there early to set up percussion and stuff. Like, so we come in like 5 minutes before lunch ends, and we see Grady, and he's kind of sitting there doing nothing important, just kind of sitting there because we hear this crying. Like, what is that noise? And like, as we were walking around, we get closer to it. Grady, oh god, I can't pull this off. Grady's there. Come on, why can't I pull this off? I don't see if like slowing this down does anything. I don't know. No, still didn't do anything. Even with the target frames per second down, I have no clue how I'm gonna get this, be able to pull this off. Oh crap, it's gonna be a pain. I guess I can talk during this end. So, yeah, Grady, he's behind the bongos, like the big tall bongos. He's behind those with a big cloth cover over him that we use to cover up instruments. Okay, why am I not pulling this off? Like, this is painful to pull off. So he's back there behind the bongos with a big cloth cover over him crying. So we just leave him. We don't want anything to do with him. So band, he's still there. He stops crying once everybody comes in. Nobody knows he's there. As band progresses, like halfway through. Oh hey, alright, eggs action now. As band's progressing, going through halfway through class, he just kind of climbs out. Oh hey, we got a Togepi. No, we're not gonna use Togepi. We got another flying type we're gonna use. He just kind of comes out of under the cover and just kind of like walks out of the room. Everybody's like, "Where the hell did he come from?" And they're like, "Cameron, James, do you know about this?" And we're like, "Nope, no idea." There we go. We pulled it off. But yeah, that's another Grady story. I got a couple more. Somehow he got moved into a computer class I had second semester, second period, and so I just annoyed the crap out of him there too. You know, like, I'd tell him stuff that would, like, he's like, "How do I do this?" I'd be like, "Oh, you just gotta do this and then do this," and it would turn off his computer, and fun stuff that he was oblivious to. But let's see, there's that, and then here's the real kicker. So I was walking home, and there's a donut store at the bottom of the hill I live on. Like, you know, there's a hill that connects to the main street. And there's a donut place, like, right next to it, kind of. Like, I don't know really how to put it. Let's see. How do I pull this off? Do I have to go back down? But there's a donut shop right there, and so I'm walking home, going up the hill. Like, I live kind of by the, like, at the top of the hill. Come on, why is this not working? And yeah, I live kind of at the top of the hill. So I'm walking home, and see Grady pedaling up the other side of the hill, like he's like going up the same way as I am, but he's on the other side of the, like, the street, and he's going up there. Oh, I still gotta get the rare candy up there. He's going up, And he's like, "Hi, James." Like he's literally his voice gets higher every year. Like he's going through reverse puberty or something. Keep in mind, it's still like a little kid's high voice, like to start. So he's like, "I got the Lollipop Guild from Wizard of Oz." And so I'm going up this hill. And what do I do here? Oh, that's right. I'm going up the hill. Is that rare candy really worth it? Yeah, it is. So I'm going up the stupid. Come on. I'm going up the hill. I'm trying to here. And he's on his bike. Going up the hill. All of a sudden I hear this kind of like this. Like it's barely audible, like I can't hear it, like it's right next to me, but I hear this little faint, like kind of snap. And like something breaks in his bike, and then the brakes fail. So, the really fat kid, yeah, gotta mention that he's a very rotund person. The very fat kid on a bike with broken brakes going up a hill. His bike just gives out. And he crashes, and when I say he crashes, come on, fucking repel. You have to spray a super repel to get this done or something. His brakes crash, or his bike crashes, or it starts plummeting down the hill. I just hear this faint, James, help. Like, I'm not helping him. He's on his own now. And so I hear, there's donuts flying everywhere. He has like 2 dozen donuts on the front of his bike. There's donuts going everywhere. And, so I'm just like, yeah, Grady, you're done for. And he goes, and I hear a crash, and I don't think anything of it. So now that he's broken his bike, he's got a scooter now. Like, this is a couple weeks afterwards. Remember how I told you he had transferred to my computers class? Well, that comes in important later on for this story. So computers class is, if I remember correctly, it's like second period in the day. And Grady is nowhere to be seen in computers class. We were rejoicing, a couple of my friends and I. And, I'll interject this with a story about said friends, Marvin and Christian. One of them has a YouTube channel somewhere, I can't remember what it's called. But, so we don't like Grady at all. And so we're like, I wonder where Grady is. It's like, somebody asked if he finally had a heart attack, and everybody just like, dude, it's kind of dickish. Even though what we've been doing already is pretty terrible. But, like, where's Grady? What's the deal? What's the deal with our large and in charge friend Grady? Nobody knows where he is. And he comes in the class, like at the end of class, with a mangled scooter, and just completely torn to shreds. It turns out that he literally broke the scooter that he was on so badly, like he was so fat that the scooter just gave out, and he had to walk home. Put the scooter, like he walked home, and he tried to get a new scooter or find something else to ride, and he couldn't find anything, so he brought the scooter back to school. And I don't know why he did that, but so yeah, there's that. And I'll just interject here with a quick story about those friends, Christian and Marvin, and another guy in our PE class this year called Mikhail, and his story revolves around annoying Marvin. So Marvin, he puts a lot of baby lotion on his hands, so like obnoxious amounts of baby lotion every day, like at the beginning of the PE and after PE, like lubes up his hands with baby lotion. So everybody calls him baby hands. And so we're conspiring, because Mikhail shares a locker with Marvin, to get a lot of baby hands, like those baby baby doll hands. Just filled like a section of the locker with them. We just thought that'd be pretty funny. But while we're going through this, I think I'll tell the story about Grady, the final story about Grady. So now it's 8th grade now. Kind of moved on from Grady. He's no longer the big laugh that he was before. He's not doing so much dumb stuff. Mainly, he's not really doing anything. And he kind of reappears in our lives because he's doing a talent show. keep in mind he quit percussion because of us a year after we did it. He was terrible anyway, so it's fine. It's not like we stopped at budding artist. He was pretty bad. And so he wants to play the drum set for the show, for the talent show. And we're like, no, Grady, no. And then our band teacher's like, okay, just let him play the drum set. You guys gotta move it for him. We're like, yeah, we're not moving that drum set for him. He's like, you have to do it or else we'll dock you down for grade. We're like, oh, you know what? It's fine. We're like, the three of us, like me and two of my friends that are in band, Ryan and Jeffrey. We got all sorts of stories about them. Are two good friends of mine. We're like the top 3 percussionists in the band. We're like, yeah, we're not doing that for him. We're not gonna move the drum set. He's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna dock your grade down by a grade if, like, you know, if you don't, and that would give us a B. And we're like, no, we don't want a B. And especially in bands, we're like, all right, fine, we'll move that for him. He's like, all right, be here after school to help him move it for auditions. So we're like, all right, we'll move it for auditions for him. And nobody shows up. We just he has to move it all by himself. So he doesn't know how to set it up. So he, of course, sets the drum set up horribly wrong for their talent show. And somehow they kind of let him in out of pity. So he's gonna be in the talent show. And the band teacher's like, well, you guys didn't help him, I'm gonna dock you down your grade. It's like, well, if you do that, we'll just quit band altogether. Then the percussion section, which is arguably the most important section of the band because they keep rhythm and time and whatnot, like keep the band from getting off and going too fast or too slow, is like really important. And we're the 3 good ones in the band. And if he doesn't have us, the whole band's gonna fall apart, really. We can make that deal with him. He's like, alright, fine, I won't dock your grade down, you know. We threatened to quit. It's kind of a dickish move, but whatever. And then talent show comes. Grady does terrible, and just everybody kind of boos him, even though, like they say, you know, if you boo, you get sent to the bathroom and get detention and stuff. Everybody boos. There's no stopping everybody. And so that happened. And then, like, next act to come on after that terrible performance is a guy named Francis. Now Francis, I'll talk about Francis. Like, I'll give backstory for Francis about 8th grade now, and then I'll talk about the first day of high school in the next episode and, like, what he did at the talent show then. But, surprised I finally have a big influx of topics. But that, like, Francis was up next, and Francis, he's a special kid, but he's a good type of special, you know. He's incredibly interested in dinosaurs. He has some kind of weird, I don't even know what it is, but some weird mental thing. He's quite the card. And he was in Jeffrey and I, which is Jeffrey and Ryan are the 2 guys that were in band, 2 friends of mine. He was in our science class, and that's what we know him from, and so he's quite the card. There were rumors before the talent show from people that were setting up, like I knew a couple people that were going to work the talent show, like student volunteers. And he was going to do something called the dinosaur alphabet. Nobody knew what that entailed, like, at all. Nobody had a clue. So there's all these rumors, like, you know, what is the dinosaur talent, like the dinosaur alphabet? Like nobody had an idea. Like, it's not. There's things that he was gonna dress up in a dinosaur suit, and all these things that, like, were incredibly outlandish and rumors, and, you know, typical stuff. And nobody actually did what he did at the talent show. He did the dinosaur alphabet, but what he did, like, what exactly happened, will be saved for next episode. So, in the next episode, I'm going to be going through the last little bit of Route 207, and then I think it's Route 208 that's on the other side of Mount Cornet. We'll be going through that and making our way over to Hearthome City to fight the next gen. So I will see you in the next episode. Bye.